My name is Musa Adnan. That's Muhammad Hijab. This is Rerouted, and here's what we have coming up for you today. Speaker's Corner is controversial.
Yeah.
It can be damaging for the da'wah at times.
Yes.
It's very argumentative. Arguments take place there.
Yes.
People, you go there, people are swearing at each other. People are just treating each other like nothing. It's not a civilized academic discussion a lot of the time.
Yes.
And there's not much actual real da'wah happening in Speaker's Corner.
Yeah.
How do you feel about those sentiments?
I think you're absolutely right about all of those points. For me, I went into a couple of public debates. And one of the main things that people were talking to me about and complaining about, and if you look at the comments,
is you're not wearing your suit properly?
Nah, not even that.
Okay.
That's something.
You weren't wearing your suit properly,
Was it?
by the way. Yeah. Next time, let me help you.
Okay, it's not even that. You can help me. There is a next time, so you can help me go to California to do a debate. So what I was gonna say was, there was a debate I did with a particular group of people. Yeah.
All right.
And I came with a T-shirt.
Yeah. A pink one.
No, it was just a blue T-shirt.
Yeah, you've worn pink vests before. I don't know where.
Isn't that part of your metro thing?
Never.
I thought that I would pink.
Even if I'm in Miami, I'm not wearing a pink vest, bro.
You
were dressed like you're in Miami.
No, but if you wore pink, no one will say anything to you. No, that's you. That's pink is you. Do you get it?
Muhammad Hijab. Look at me, bro.
Is it starting?
Yes, we started. How's things?
Alhamdulillah, not bad.
MashaAllah, tabarakallah. It's a pleasure to have you on the Rerouted podcast. For all of our viewers, I've been very, very excited to film this. We've been doing, a lot of digging, a lot of planning, and
yes, sorry,
it's a privilege to have you you're drinking your coffee.
I'm very, very happy to be here. Aira is the first da'wah home for all of us. I mean, in the UK, and it's nice to be here. See the guys, see Sabur Ahmed and Imran Hussein and Hamza Zosis and Adnan Rashid and Musa Adnan and all those other people that I haven't mentioned.
MashaAllah, you mentioned me last. I'll take notes.
I'll say last but not least.
Last but not least, definitely. So there's many things with you that we can talk about. You've been very, very active online for a number of years now.
Yeah.
But I wanna go back. I wanna start the podcast and I wanna talk about some things maybe you might not have spoken about in the past. Tell me about your upbringing. Muhammad Hijab's upbringing.
I actually we filmed a podcast with my dad recently,
Really?
Yeah. I mean, it's going to sound a little bit whatever, but he wasn't actually an active part of my upbringing in that sense that maybe like, a nuclear family would be used to, like someone part of a nuclear family.
Okay.
But, so it was, obviously I did have a lot of interaction with my dad, but mostly it was my mum. So my mum was always there. She was a strong single mother that that basically helped me get to where I am in every single way, shape or form. To be honest, we're obviously a working class family in the sense that my parents are the ones who came to this country. My dad was both of them had degrees from Egypt, and then they went to Bahrain for a while, and then they came to the UK.
Yeah.
And so they had to establish everything from the very beginning. And both of them continued like teaching and learning. My dad went on he's now a professor and so on. He went to Manchester University.
Wow, okay, so what does your dad teach?
He used to teach like linguistics, but most particularly English as a foreign language.
Okay.
Because he had to learn. When you learn English as a foreign language, you become good at certain things like language acquisition and stuff.
Wow.
So that's his field. So they kind of established themselves in this country in that way. But in that process of doing so, there was a lot of movement. It was kind of rough in the sense that we had to council accommodation, temporary accommodation.
Yeah.
I remember living in a hotel. We lived in a hotel for because my dad had to go back to Egypt. He divorced my mum, and then they kind of went their own separate ways and so on. So when that happened, kind of like me, my mum, my sister and so on, we were moving around from place to place, and a lot of that was like temporary accommodation, hotels.
Do you feel like that shaped you as a person? Like going, because that's a little bit rough, right? I mean, you find that children who are raised in families, that have been separated like that, may have it harder, you know, than other families where you're all happy, mother, father, going on holidays together. You know, you got this set routine kind of thing with your family throughout the year. You go on 2 or 3 holidays, like, you know, the way families, typically speaking, you know, the way typical families are expected to do from societal perspective.
Yeah.
Obviously, not going into all of that, but did you feel like that shaped you? You know, your family being like that?
I think that, yeah, I'm sure it did. I can't tell you exactly how. I think that's more of like a psychoanalytic dimension or unconscious mind that I haven't tapped into myself.
Do you feel like you're a strong person yourself?
A stronger or strong?
Strong person, generally speaking. And I don't necessarily mean physically, mashallah, but I mean like mentally. Do you feel like you're mentally strong?
I think that if that's a good question. I think that really and truly, I think that I'm overconfident. I know that for a fact. That's one of my characteristics. But I think that because of that overconfidence, people think that I think of myself as maybe stronger than I actually am. But I know that emotionally, I think that we're all quite fragile in our different ways. And I think I would put myself in that category of fragile individual. And the Quran says, وَخُلِقَ الْإِنسَانَ ضَعِيفًا, where He created the human being weak. But in this context, it was talking about sexual desire and marriage. And obviously all men are, and women to maybe a lesser extent, are weak in that sense. And like, you know, they always find it difficult to control their desire. From those angles, you know, as young men or whatever, we're always going to find it difficult. But from an emotional perspective, I think that, you know, the only thing that I feel on a serious, genuine level, when you ask me that question like that, is grounded me and given me kind of a continuity in thought, and a stability in mind, is the Quran itself and the prayers. 2 things.
Do you feel like that helped you from a young age?
The thing is, I wasn't attached to the Quran from a young age.
So tell me about that. Like, how did you become attached? You know, obviously you mentioned you're going from place to place with your sister, your mother. Yeah. What ended up happening after that?
I always had a curiosity for to understand more about purpose of life and the ultimate questions in life. And we all go through the same things. Like, I mean, we all like. I was born and raised in this country, and to be honest, we had the same exposures to to normative ideas like liberalism, feminism, science, all those things, challenges, and also like the desires element as well. Like, you're growing up in this country. Obviously, I went to a secondary school here. Yeah, a mixed secondary school.
How was your secondary school experience?
I was a bit of a loud character. You know, I've been excluded many times. So I was a naughty kid basically. Until quite recently, maybe I'm still a naughty kid. Because I still go to university. I still get in trouble, you know. Yeah. But I was a naughty kid. I was quite loud. Yeah. I went to. I've been excluded, I think, maybe 10 times in like temporary exclusions.
So what reasons were there for like fighting and?
That was, you know, I wasn't a violent guy. I wasn't known for that. To be honest, like anyone who knows me and probably watching this now from secondary school days knows that, you know, Muhammad Hijab, or as they call me, Hijab. They used to call me Hijab at that time. You know,
the proper
how my name is actually said. Yeah. And I don't think I was ever known for that. Not to say that obviously as a teenage guy, you know, kid or adolescent, you're not going to get into fights, and you're not going to, especially in the city of London. So
do you feel like, when did religion start to kick in for you? Because you mentioned obviously in high school you were getting excluded a lot, you were getting in trouble a lot, so obviously you were clearly doing some things you shouldn't be doing. Yeah. How did religion come into all of this? Praying, you mentioned praying, reading Quran. Where did that all come into the picture?
It came from curiosity. Okay, everything was triggered by curiosity. I wanted to know. For me, I had this kind of personality that if I'm going to get into something, I'm going to get into it fully, 100%. Okay. But I need to know that this thing that I'm getting into 100% and going to dedicate my time to and life to is 100% true. You know what I mean? Yeah. I will lie, that was actually that was the thought process in my mind. I was thinking, I'm grown. Truth. Yeah, my dad is actually like more liberal minded, and my mum, alhamdulillah, she's a practicing, you know, woman and so on. But if I had decided to be less practicing, or if I had decided to be moderate or quote unquote modern, or moderate or whatever, and obviously for those who are listening to this and not seeing, I'm using the speech mark, you know, body language there. If I had decided to do that, I don't think there would have been any consequences on me, like as a person. Do you get it? For my family, I don't think there would. My extended family, a lot of them, they're kind of split into 2. Some of them are very like nationalistic, secular and so on, and some of them are very religious.
Okay, interesting.
So maybe if I would have gone to Egypt, the more religious side of the family would have pressured me a little bit or tried to convince me a little bit more. But it wasn't something that I had, like, it was a choice I wanted to make for myself at the end of the day. Like, you know, so I had to look into religion. And at that age, maybe at 13, 14.
Okay, 13, 14.
So I was year 8, year 9. So I was thinking about it from that age, from about year 8. I remember year 7, I used to go to Egypt and ask people about religion. How about this? How about that? And I used to be exposed.
Interesting.
I was exposed to the supposed contradictions of the Quran, that whole narrative at the age of 11 or 12. I was exposed to it fully. I knew exactly the anti-Islamic websites. I knew everything. I knew,
Amazing.
I knew all of that. I saw what was going on in the atmosphere, and I wanted to see both sides of the argument. So obviously I was watching people like Ahmed Didat, at that time as well, Zakir Naik, who I went and saw recently as well, by the way.
How was that?
It was very good. It's good to see someone that you've been watching for a long time,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. How is he as a person?
He's quite similar to how he is on the camera, you know?
Okay,
He's
yeah,
not,
That's cool, man.
yeah, so
Yeah,
I was watching all of that and trying to make sense of everything. And it took me, I'm not going to lie, it took me some time to conclude that, this is, I'm 100% sure. But I was going through the process when I was a teenager. So at that time, I wasn't really necessarily reciting Quran or trying to memorize it, or even, I was praying. It wasn't fully like consistent or anything like that, you know. And I had become religious probably around year 10 or 11. But then obviously it wasn't just one thing, like, which is about 15 years old. So 14, 15, around 17, it was quite like I had a fixed religious personality.
So when you were in college, you were religious?
I had a fixed religious personality. People knew that I prayed, that I try and preach to them, all of those things. But at the same time, I had been quite a like loud, funny, person. Like I wasn't. A lot of religious people are, from my experience, anyways, of them is they're quite introverted. What I saw from my
in terms of their characters.
A lot, from what I saw in school is that they're quite introverted. They're not really. But for me, I was an extroverted religious person, and I realized that mix was actually quite helpful for propagation of Islam, because obviously confidence sells, at the end of the day. And I became a salesman, by the way. That's something else that we can talk about. But certainly, like, it wasn't something that just happened overnight. It was a process, and I think Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, obviously, He guided me. And I always remember this hadith of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam when he says, "Man yuridillahu bihi khayran yufaqihu fi din."
Allahu Akbar.
Whoever Allah wants good for, He gives them understanding of the religion. So the fact that I was searching, I think because of the persistence of my search over a long space of time, Allah gifted me with guidance. Because I was asking, I was knocking at the door. It wasn't like a matter of, overnight I just became convinced of Islam in a full sense. I had yaqeen. No, I had to go through the whole process. I had to critically look at everything, all the contentions, all the so-called logical problems and so on. And then I came to a very solid conclusion. To the extent where now, like, this is it. Like, for me, obviously religion is something that we would die for.
I think that can be very, very, very powerful for a person's inside, because I went through something similar where I started doubting. I started going through a lot of doubts, a lot of logical doubts. I had to sort a lot of logical doubts out in my head. And I realized, I came to a stage where I was like, if you want to keep doing this logical battle, or not even logical battle, like waswas battle, like even, I'm not saying you had waswas, but I'm saying a lot of people even get this. There's no point, because this is the truth at this point.
But people that have that affliction, though, it's not in their control. What I realize, it's not something that they can just turn off. It's literally there's something that's stuck in their mind. Someone's told them something about, like, the Quran's got this contradiction. They don't have the knowledge to sort out that contradiction in their mind.
I feel like sometimes you don't even need the knowledge to sort things like that out, because when your faith is so strong,
but your faith is not strong yet.
But when your faith is strong, and for example, Islam is the absolute truth. Nothing, anything. You know how you start thinking. I don't know if you'll agree with this, but the way I started thinking is, okay, I don't understand that, but maybe I'll understand it in a couple years.
Do you know what made me like assured that that Islam is true? Basically,
how?
For me, what made me assured that Islam is true is basically the Quran. So I started an in-depth kind of study of the Quran on my own self as a teenager. Because I wanted to see certain things, and I looked at everything, like all the claims that would be made for and against, from mathematical miracles to scientific miracles. supposed mathematics, supposed scientific. There's lots of question marks everywhere. But I looked at everything. I looked at the linguistic stuff. Now, the thing really that did it for me was the language. Like, I think that was because after a while I realized that, you know what, this book, it's not fathomable that this could have been from a human being. If someone had, I'm not saying obviously this is not hasha lillah, that this is the case with the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but if someone had absolutely like the worst record in morality, but presented that book, I'd accept them as a prophet.
Yeah.
Do you get it?
Yeah.
If I know what I know about this book, if they had the worst like the morality, like they were serial killers, they were this, they were that, they were, let's say raper, like, killing the children and whatever it may be,
But he presented
that, khalas, that's what I need to do. Just show me how a human being can do this.
But basically, when you see that something is the absolute truth in that way, that's gonna, because Islam is a way of life. I mean, even for any non-Muslims that may be listening, Islam is a way of life. The way it projects itself is as it is, that this is the truth. And Islam, from the second page of the Quran, ذلك الكتاب ألف لام ميم ذلك الكتاب لا ريب فيه هدى للمتقين. That this Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, God Almighty, is talking about this book and saying that there's no doubt in this book. And shak, we know in Arabic, shak, there's an Arabic word, it's doubt. Shak is like 50-50 doubt. Raib is a little bit of doubt. Raib in Arabic is a little bit of doubt. Allah saying, God is saying, there's not even a little bit of doubt in this book. Not even a little bit. Forget shak, doubting, 50-50, I'm not sure. Forget all of that. There's not even a little bit of doubt. So when you read Quran like that, it does definitely inspire you. Talking of reading Quran though, spirituality, how has spirituality impacted you as an individual? Because I've seen, bro, and this is a criticism I have of you, and you can accept it, I'm sure you will, because mashallah. But for example, I've been on your YouTube channel, we've worked together for years as well, and I've been on your YouTube channel, we've been on each other's YouTube channels.
I've been on yours now. I'm on yours now.
You have.
Yeah, no, I'm just joking.
But before, I've noticed something. The way the da'wah is projected by a lot of people,
ultra-rationalist,
including yourself as well sometimes, is very lacking of public spirituality.
Oh yeah, that's exactly right.
But I know that you're a very spiritual person. Why
I wouldn't say that, I wouldn't even say that I'm very spiritual. I think that.
But why is the da'wah lacking like that then?
No, I think that's a projection of my personality. That's what I think that is. I think that.
Really?
Yeah. I don't think I'm a very spiritual person. I've got my daily routines.
Okay.
In terms of spirituality and stuff like that, and I've got the things that I do.
Yeah.
In terms of, because I believe in consistency. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that the best of a'mal, the best of deeds to Allah is adwamuhu wa inqal, the most consistent one, and even if it's small. Yeah. So, and as the Arabs say, khayrun qalilun da'im khayrun min kathirun munqata'. It's a little bit and small better than a lot and not consistent.
Yeah.
So consistency is key. I'm a believer of that. I believe that whatever I do, it has to be a lifestyle for me.
Yeah.
So things like, for example, adhkar al-sabah al-masa.
Yeah.
That is very important.
Could you translate what that is?
So adhkar al-sabah al-masa is the supplications of the morning and the evening.
Yeah.
If you go to the Fortress of the Muslim, I think it's page 91 or something like that. It'll be on the contents page. It's a range of different different supplications that someone can make. And to be honest with you, when I first started doing it, it's kind of difficult to describe this, and people might laugh at me or whatever, I don't care, but I felt like the sweetness in my physical heart. Like, you can feel something there, like, I'm trying to say, there's a sweet feeling, there's a sensation, you get it? But when you continue doing something, it's like the gym. When you continue going to the gym and you get used to the workout, you need to up the game a little bit more. You need to do something else. You need to basically mix it up a little bit.
So basically, in terms of spirituality, you need to keep it going.
Yeah, you need to kind of up it up, just like anything else. If you do something for a while, you need to kind of maybe increase volume or increase quality. Yeah, either one of the two or both.
So again, like, so you feel like the da'wah with yourself, and I don't mean to put you on a spot here, but with yourself, with many others in the da'wah scene as individuals, lack spirituality because those people themselves lack spirituality.
I think I couldn't say about those people. I could just talk about myself.
Let's.
So for me,
because it's true, bro.
No, for me, I've met people that are much, like, to be honest, that way more spiritual. Like I wouldn't consider myself a spiritual person. That's number one. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've met people that are spiritual. I know what they look like, what they do, how they interact, their movements. It's completely different to my movements. And the reason why is a lot of them. Number one is environment. Yeah. So a lot of the people that I meet, like people from different countries, Morocco, Egypt, whatever.
Yeah.
My grandma is the best example. She died recently. Yeah. So Allah, yeah. She was the most spiritual person I've ever met in my life. Yeah, she's the most spiritual person I've ever. There's no scholar I've met that's more spiritual than her, in my opinion. And I've met the big ones, by the way. Just so anyone's saying that he hasn't seen the scholars. Yeah, I've been there. I studied with the scholars in your the ones you like as well. But let's say, for her, like the
yeah.
Sorry. My interaction with her was like she was very, very, very spiritual. So
yeah.
Let me tell you what I observed from her.
Please.
So what I observed from her was that she was at that time she was like she died at 77 years old. She died like this year, yeah.
Well.
And she, her daily routine, basically she had leukemia. Yeah, she had leukemia, a type of cancer. Yeah, and her daily, she would fast on Ramadan, even though the doctors, all of them, like kind of like told her not to do it. Her family told her, but she wanted to do it because she felt like she was gonna die and she wanted to die doing good deeds.
Good deeds, yeah.
And her daily routine, because when I went to Egypt 3 years ago, and I obviously saw her, interacted with her and so on. Yeah, I'm going to the toilet or whatever, and I see her like praying Qiyamul Layl. She's praying Qiyamul Layl.
No way.
Yeah. She's standing up as well.
No way.
And she can't even stand up properly. Like she's praying every day. It's very consistent. Fajr, she's there before Fajr. Wakes up every day. The same noise as the toilet. She go there, do wudu, whatever. You get it. And throughout the day, she's reading Quran. She's reading the Quran, like she's reading it and reading it and reading it and reading it and reading it. And that's all that she's doing. And then obviously adhkar. I'm trying to say, and the way she just moves, her movement is the movement of a spiritual person. When she does tasbih, each time she does a glorification of Allah, she takes her time. Like with me, when I do it now, I'm subhanallah, trying to get it quickly done so I can go and do my thing. With my grandma, you can see that she was like engaging, like with every second of that particular tasbih.
Amazing, man.
So that, and by the way, a lot of things happen to her and stuff like that, which wouldn't happen to regular people. Like you see that they have insight and they're speaking in ways as if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives them, gives them dreams. Certain things are going to happen in the future, this and that.
Ajib.
And they see the prophet in a dream, and there's lots of things that just don't happen to us, So yeah, I've seen the movements of spiritual people, and I'm certainly not one of them. Like so, but yeah, I think it's because of the debates. It is the reason.
I want to come to that as well, bro, because look, there's some things with the da'wah, and you know about these things as well.
Yeah.
That I just, the way some aspects that the da'wah has become, like, I just don't agree with.
Yeah.
This is one of them, and I've noticed it in many of us. I'm not pointing you out.
Yeah.
This is something I've noticed in myself. Go online, go on my channel, go on my Instagram. We're not trying to put, but it's like, how much do us as dawah figures talk about spirituality?
Yeah.
You can go on our YouTube channel, they can go on your YouTube channel, and there's not one video. Maybe there's like not one video saying, guys, do your morning and evening remembrances.
Yeah.
Guys, do you read Quran?
Yeah.
More like it's, debating and stuff like that and whatnot.
Yeah.
And I think you as well, it's very good to speak to you about this, because I know for a fact you know the power of spirituality. Because how did you prepare for your debate with David Wood?
Take notes, this and that. What?
Spiritually though.
What, make dua?
Yeah.
I made a lot of dua. Yeah.
So that's a spiritual aspect of it.
Yeah.
Now, you wouldn't be doing that if you didn't believe it. So many of us, we haven't truly tasted that sweetness of spirituality. Once you taste it, because spirituality is what many of us lack. And once you feel that spirituality, that sweetness, that thing that you said you felt in your heart, and this is how it is. This is the importance of spirituality. Many of us don't focus on it. What solutions do you feel like spirituality will bring to people if they tried it at home?
From what I see of people of spirituality, obviously they have tama'nina, which is the idea of أَلَا بِذِكْرِ اللَّهِ تَطْمَئِنُّ الْقُلُوبِ, that with the remembrance of Allah do hearts find rest. And I think that people confuse sometimes happiness and tranquility, and I think tranquility is it should be more of a sort of a psychological state, to be honest, because what is happiness? It's kind of like a spike in your in your state of being. You go from A to, or 0 to 100 or whatever, or 0 to 80. You go up. There's a spike in the reaction, your reaction to stimuli in the world.
Yeah.
But tranquility is a bit more like you feel relaxed.
Mm.
You know, it's more you're floating rather than you're swimming, or
Yes.
you are
So
gliding. Your emotions are gliding. Do you get it? So I feel like that when the Quran says tama'nina, ala bi dhikrillahi tatma'innu al-qulub, you know, and on the other hand, the verse says, with the remembrance of Allah do hearts find rest. And on the other hand, in Surah Taha, it says, you know, ومن أعرض عن ذكري فإن له معيشة ضنكا ونحشره يوم القيامة أعمى. You know, and whoever goes against our, you know, my dhikr, my remembrance, then he's going to have a very depressed life.
And what was the next ayah that you recited?
ونحشره يوم القيامة أعمى, and he'll be gathered on the day of judgment blind.
And what will he say to Allah?
قال لما حشرتني أعمى. He said, وقد كنت بصيرا. He was said to him, why have you put me, made me blind, and I used to be seeing? قال كذلك أتتك آياتك فنسيتها وكذلك اليوم تنسى. Say that you were given our ayahs, our signs, and then you forgot it, so that day you'll be forgotten.
So today you're going to be forgotten.
Yeah.
So it's like, look at the people who are like that. And that's why I feel like spirituality is something so important. Even all of us at Aira.
Do you know what? Something interesting. Sorry, I forgot to mention. Yeah, this is a mulahadha that is. I discovered this, by the way. Yep.
Okay.
Myself.
What is this? You seem very
yes.
excited.
I want to put this. Is going to be for the da'wah carriers as well. You can use this.
That's your camera if you want to talk.
Oh, sorry.
To it.
Yeah.
All right over there.
Yeah. And you know, subhanallah, on this point.
Just
yeah.
talking to the mic.
I was reading the Quran one time, and it's Surah al-Mujadila. It's also Mujadila. Yeah. Chapter 58 of the Quran.
Okay.
And I was reading it, and there was one verse that came up, which is استحوذ عليهم الشيطان فأنساهم ذكر الله. That the shaitan overcame them so that he made them forget about the remembrance of Allah.
Yeah.
So I thought this is really interesting surah, yeah. And this is part of like that linguistic miracle of the Quran, yeah. This is me. I didn't consult any secondary. I was just a guy that was reading the Quran, and I realized something about this surah. Yeah, I don't know how many verses there are in Surah al-Mujadila, yeah? But every single ayah has the word Allah in it.
Amazing.
Do you know that? I challenge you. I could go and find the surah, yeah? Every single ayah has the word Allah. Why? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allahu alam why, but you know, Allah says in the same surah, استحوذ عليهم الشيطان فأنساهم ذكر الله. The shaitan overcame them and he made them forget the remembrance of Allah. So it's as if Allah is trying to remind us now.
Yeah.
And the next surah, which is Surah al-Hashr, which is in the Quran, yeah, chronologically the next surah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he says, he says, you know, he mentions that those people who forgot Allah, فَأَنْسَهُمْ أَنفُسَهُمْ, so he made them forget themselves. Yeah, أُولَئِكَ هُمُ الْفَاسِقُونَ. They are the ones who are the evildoers. So everything is connected. About if you forget about Allah, then number one, you're going to forget about yourself. You will not have, it's like, how can you forget about the one that created you and still think that you have an existential purpose in this life?
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm trying to say? You're purposeless. You're a floating container. You're nothing basically without purpose of life. That's really important for me. I would hate to, like, being an atheist. I mean, imagine that. That's disgusting. A'udhu billah. For me, like, personally, I would hate to be like that. Like forgetting my parents, for example. Imagine I don't know that I had parents. I don't get it. I had parents. I came here through the medium of parents. That would be an embarrassing spiritual state.
Yeah. So there's so many things, bro, we can talk about to highlight the importance of spirituality. There are so many things we can speak about. You know, for example, everyone knows the four Khulafa al-Rashidin, right? We have the four great caliphs of Islam.
Right.
Umar, Ali radiallahu anhu, Abu Bakr, Uthman radiallahu anhum ajma'een. All of them, may Allah be pleased with them.
Order was a bit
I wasn't doing it in order.
Yeah.
I was just saying the names. Yeah. So we have these four caliphs. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know that many people, they talk about all of the great things they all done.
Yes.
Umar radiallahu anhu was like this. Abu Bakr used to donate so much in charity. Ali radiallahu anhu was like this. He was brave. He was like this.
Yeah.
Uthman radiallahu anhu was very generous. He married two of the wives of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi
Two
wasallam.
of the daughters.
Yeah, sorry, afwan. Two of the daughters of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And we can go on and on and on. But how many people mention the fact that they were all huffaz of Quran? They had all memorized the Quran. We forget about the spiritual aspects, and it's important, man. It's very, very important. Moving on now. You mentioned debates earlier, okay?
Yes.
So I want to ask you, do you see me at Speaker's Corner?
Well, I've seen you once or twice, I think.
Okay, so I don't really go Speaker's Corner, right?
Yeah, you don't.
I personally feel like, and many of us here at IARA also share these sentiments, that Speaker's Corner is controversial.
Yeah.
It can be damaging for the da'wah at times.
Yes.
It's very argumentative. Arguments take place there.
Yes.
You go there, people are swearing at each other. People are just treating each other like nothing. It's not a civilized academic discussion a lot of the time.
Yes.
And there's not much actual real da'wah happening in Speaker's Corner.
Yeah.
How do you feel about those sentiments?
I think you're absolutely right about all of those points. But the issue is as well.
So why do you go to Speaker's Corner then?
I go to Speaker's Corner because of the maslaha and because it's a good platform. I've been to many universities across different parts of this country, in UK, been to the US, and been to many different other countries as well, One thing that I would say is actually a more powerful platform than all of those places, almost without exception, unless you're debating or you're engaging with a very high-profile person with a social media following, is Speaker's Corner.
Okay. So are you saying that in terms of viewership?
Yes.
Okay, so let me challenge you on that contention.
And one more thing as well, which is important. Okay. I think that lecture, like pedagogically, there's been a lot of research into lecture style presentations.
Okay.
Yeah. So pedagogy is basically the study of how one learns and teaches. Teaching methods and so on. Yeah. So in the field of pedagogy, there's been discussion and
now I think at this point you're saying the word wrong yourself.
Pedagogy. No, it's pedagogy. It's pedagogy.
Go
on. So there's the lecture style approach. Especially, obviously, language acquisition. There's no question. Yeah.
Okay.
That you can't apply. You can't have that approach. You can't have that approach. But even in general learning, a lot of pedagogical studies have shown that lecture style information presentations are not great. So I've tried to break it down to 20-minute lectures nowadays. I've tried to really.
That's good. I agree with
that.
that.
Now, if it has to be done over 45 minutes, I will do it. But basically, engagement is what people are after now.
I agree with that.
Speaker's Corner provides that.
Speaker's Corner.
So a lot of people want to see that engagement. They want to see that interaction between people.
So let me come in here now.
Yeah.
Speaker's
It's
Corner.
a bit like reality TV as well. The storylines or whatever.
That's exactly my point.
Yeah.
So Speaker's Corner does provide engagement, as does reality TV, where you have so-and-so shouting at so-and-so, so-and-so punching so-and-so, etc. And I personally believe that is why Speaker's Corner is watched so widely.
Yeah.
It's not the education value.
Of course not.
It's not the debate value.
Yes.
It's not the da'wah value.
Yes.
It's not that you're learning
That's
something.
all tech is, exactly.
It's just that you're eating popcorn and you're watching so-and-so have a dig at so-and-so, and then you're going, oh, guys, did you see that?
Yeah.
Muhammad Hijab just whooped this guy.
Or the opposite.
And
or
it becomes egotistical.
It can become,
Yeah, and it becomes egotistical. It's not even it becomes egotistical a lot of the time.
Yeah.
So,
agreed.
With yourself, don't you feel like that can be a detrimental image to da'wah? Because a lot of the time, and I feel like you should clarify this, because as someone that goes there, a lot of the time people think debate equals da'wah. There's an ayah in Surah An-Nahl, and Fakhruddin al-Razi, he comments on the ayah.
Which one are you talking about? وَجَادِلْهُمْ بِالَّتِي هِيَ أَحْسَنُ.
And then where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks about debate.
Here, جَادِلْهُمْ بِالَّتِي هِيَ أَحْسَنُ. Debate with them with that which is better.
And the wow is mentioned,
وَجَادِلْهُمْ
right?
بِالَّتِي,
Yeah. So in Arabic, you'll agree with this as well. Sometimes the wow can be mentioned to. In fact, it is mentioned. What we learn in Arabic is when a wow is in place, the letter wow, it's a separate thing now. It's a separate sentence.
The only issue is that you have other ayahs as well in the Quran.
Yeah, you do have other ayahs. But when we speak about this one, I want to focus on the commentary of Razi, where he actually mentions how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala differentiates between debate and da'wah.
I would disagree with that.
You would disagree with that?
Yeah, because if you look at the whole Quran, there's three main verses that I would bring up. There's one in Nahl, yeah. So, ادعوا على سبيل ربك بالحكمة والموعظة الحسنة وجادلهم. So, وجادلهم, is it part of the da'wah or is it new? Is it a new sentence? That's the question. Is it waw atf or is it waw istitnaf? That's the question. Yeah? Okay. So if it's waw istitnaf, it's a new.
You should translate it.
Sorry, waw atf is a conjunctive. It's like and. Yeah. So it puts two things together.
Yeah.
Waw istitnaf is basically when you start a sentence, you use the word waw.
Separation.
Yeah. Now, if Fakhruddin al-Razi believed that this was a separation, that's one scholarly view. But you've got two other areas to contend with.
Okay.
One of them is in Surah Al-Ankabut.
Yeah.
Where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَلَا تُجَادِلْ أَهْلِ الْكِتَابِ إِلَّا بِالَّتِي هِيَ أَحْسَنُ.
Okay.
So do not do debate with Ahl al-Kitab except for that which is better. And the same wording is used, by the way. بالحكمة والموعظة الحسنة. Same kind of wording is used. So that makes it clear that actually there is a connection between the two things you've done. And the third one is in Surah Al-An'am as well, where obviously this one's a very famous example, where Ibrahim is having he's basically debating.
Is jidal always a positive term in the Quran?
It's neutral, I would say.
It's negative at times.
Yeah, it's neutral, so it can be used negatively and positively.
When Allah speaks about Hajj in the Quran, ولا جدال
ولا رفث
ولا فسوق ولا جدال في الحج.
Yeah, في الحج.
Yeah, but so why is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala telling you not to do it in Hajj if it's a positive thing?
Because Muslims, all Muslims in Hajj.
But in Speaker's Corner, you're debating with Muslims sometimes.
That's the problem.
Yeah, thank you.
That point.
Thank you, I win.
That point, I would agree with you.
Yeah.
If you say with the Muslims, I agree. Yeah. But even that, to be honest, Nawawi has a discussion on. But I don't want to sound like preaching a certain thing. Yeah. But Imam Ahmad had a book called Usul al-Sunnah.
Okay.
Usul al-Sunnah عندنا, whatever, and he the principles of the Sunnah upon us and whatever. And he says don't debate with certain sects, like deviated sects in Islam.
But we don't want to get too deep into that sort of conversation, because that.
But then Nawawi says that sometimes within Islam there's maslaha. So basically, maslaha meaning common. Where it's beneficial that you can do it, when it's not that you don't, and it's got to be qualified people for certain specialist things.
But let's keep it basic level, because a lot of the people that are going to be watching are going to be at very basic level. Yeah, so
don't try and demean the audience, brother. Just because now.
Don't try and bring. You're trying to bring the audience up to your level, subhanallah. But look, regardless,
I don't think.
I'm sure we can agree. I'm sure we can agree that Speaker's Corner.
But sorry, last thing is Surah Al-An'am.
Yeah.
Where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala narrates the situation of Ibrahim.
Yeah.
وحاجه قومه. His people debated with him. Okay. After what? After he says
no, but they were doing the debating.
No, he was debating. Hajjahu, it has to be two people, because he was debating with them. He first was talking about هذا ربي. He said, this is my Lord.
Yeah.
Talking about the moon, and then he says هذا ربي هذا أكبر.
But wasn't Ibrahim alayhi salam giving da'wah to them, and they were debating back?
Yeah. So if you get,
but the difference is, akhi, and I'll actually mention this. Ibrahim alayhi salam was calling to something. A lot of the times, these conversations, Speaker's Corner, if you watch them with this in mind, with what I'm about to say, they're not calling to anything.
You're
wrong, I'm right, you're wrong.
Yeah, if it becomes personal, it's true. But if it's religion related, if it's da'wah related, especially tawheed, then I think there's a lot of
definitely. You can be calling as well. So there's that fair aspect. Generally speaking, though, I'm sure you'll agree that sometimes it's better to keep it clean. Because some of the things can create controversy and stuff like that and whatnot. And you've been involved in some of these controversies. You
get really joking. Yeah, of course.
No, honestly, you've been involved in some of these controversies, and I personally believe it can be something negative.
So was Ibrahim.
Sorry.
So Ibrahim alayhi salam.
So you're comparing yourself to Ibrahim alayhi salam?
Yeah, comparisons are everywhere. But the prophets, all of them are controversial figures.
I don't know if you can say that.
Yeah, because what do you call it? The Quran is controversial. The Quran is controversial because controversy is where there's disagreement.
But who is the Quran controversial to?
Exactly, that's the same thing. We could make an argument.
No, but Speaker's Corner becomes controversial to everyone.
No, but it's not.
There's arguments taking place everywhere. There's people kicking each
Muslims
other. There's people chasing each other.
This is the way I put it is that you're going to be controversial either way.
Yeah.
You're either make an argument, or the argument will be made against you. As simple as that. That's how it is in this country. There is a space for it.
But don't you believe there's a differentiation between an argument and calling?
No, I don't believe that you can always differentiate. Sometimes you can call through arguments.
No, you can. There are
Quran's,
times. For example, you're speaking to an atheist, you're speaking to a Christian, and you're calling them, you're educating them about Islam. That doesn't necessarily need to turn into a debate.
But if it does,
then what you're doing is you're still calling them, but you're putting their points to the side.
Yeah, no, I agree with this.
You see,
method. Yeah.
So the calling method is always there. The da'wah is always there.
Yeah.
My point, I don't disagree. But bro, by the way, debates are good. I might even debate in the future. Debates are good. Inshallah, debates are good. And many of our elders and many of the people we look up to debated. You know, people like who you mentioned, Sheikh Ahmed Didat, Sheikh Zakir Naik. You know, may Allah bless them. They debated. My father,
great debater.
Yourself.
And mashallah, he's by the way, I've just uploaded the video of his on YouTube.
Okay.
On my channel is excellent. Wallahi, exposition. This is actually one of the main counter theses to what you just said, because it was an incredibly academic exposition where he was mentioning references. Did you watch the video?
Let me clarify.
That guy Joseph, did you watch it?
No. But let me clarify.
You should watch the video, man. It's absolutely excellent.
Let me clarify something. This is a clarification. I'm not saying that Speaker's Corner is full of negativity and it's all bad, etc. You're gonna have good things coming out there, definitely. But that's like a lot of things. But you are gonna have benefits coming out there.
But a lot of us built our like da'wah from Speaker's Corner. So forget
I understand that.
Green, Hamza's Oasis.
I understand that.
A lot of the Ayah brothers.
But now it's like a reality show.
A lot of us actually, if it wasn't for, we have to be honest, if it wasn't for Speaker's Corner, the platform might not have been there.
No, but now I'm talking about now. Then I used to go. I used to go, and I used to even debate with people. But then,
so the idea is,
it was not like a reality show.
If it's something that works and it can actually attract people's attention, and can bring people to Islam. And it's good that almost everything that you do that's going to be good is going to have some effects.
But I think this is good. I think this conversation is good because it's going to make it clear to people that, guys, sometimes also take it with a pinch of salt.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think it's important coming from you. You know, it's important coming from because you're one of the most viewed people in Speaker's Corner. Regardless, I'm not trying to throw you under the bus and say, oh, you're doing nonsense. No. Yeah, because debating, the scholars of the past debated. We believe that as Muslims. Regardless, what advice would you give to people who watch Speaker's Corner videos and people who go to it?
Watch Speaker's Corner videos. I mean, to be honest with you, like for those who enjoy watching it, I would say to them, it is what it is. I mean, if you find that there's benefit that you getting out of it, if it's a way that you're learning. By the way, a lot of the times we plan lessons at Speaker's Corner. So I think to myself, okay, I want to do, I want to teach people about these arguments.
Yeah.
Now it could be very easy that I bring a blackboard or whiteboard behind me and start showing the people, but it's much easier to engage someone in the argument.
Then again, akhi,
so I would say that if you're getting educational value from it, that's very good. But there's going to come a time where obviously if you want to develop in your knowledge, that you're going to have to move away from that, and you're going to have to do your own research.
But don't you believe? I'm really sorry to come in here, but don't you believe that educational value you're giving it, the way you're giving it to them, is in the form of a debate and sometimes an argument? Don't you believe that that's going to now encourage people to approach people in that way, but they're in the workplace, and that's not suitable in the workplace.
It's not suitable in the workplace.
Like, for example, the person Muhammad,
that's a good point.
Muhammad might start talking to Katie at work. And Katie is like really receptive, but because of what he's watched on Speaker's Corner, he's like no, and all of a sudden,
he's
created an approach, and Katie's like, whoa, okay, like, all right, mate, you're on your high horse a bit. So there is that as well. But definitely, in terms of advice,
I'll
let you continue.
That's a good point. So I think what you just said is very valid. So I wouldn't use those methods with people that are from the laity or whatever. Start nice and just try your best to win them over as individuals.
I think learning the arguments is a good thing. But the way in which you project your arguments is very important to bear in mind that different environments call for different 100%. Approaches.
I agree.
One last topic I want to speak about with you is separate now.
Okay.
So you can calm down.
I'm alright. I'm used to it. 1 week out. This was quite nice and.
We really
gentle.
love you at IRA. So that's one of the reasons why we wanted to get you on the show as well. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah.
You don't really talk about it online that much, but you're someone that has been.
I'm not anything, man. Trust me. This is what I'll say. That
you've been doing it for some time, right?
No, not really. Like I
What do you mean?
only
You've been doing it for a few years, man.
Yeah, 2-3 years. But
Yeah.
before that, I was more into freestyle wrestling, and to be honest with you, it's all levels. Like, to be honest, if I compare myself with someone who's a full-time professional fighter, then they're going to be,
Obviously,
especially if
I'm
they're the
not.
same weight. So I'm not.
How often do you do it?
I do it on the side. Like, to be honest with you, like, I try and I've got a schedule, yeah? Like I said, everything that's good, try and keep things into a schedule, things consistently. So if I can get two times a week of grappling, and one time, that would be optimum. If I can have one time of striking a week, 2 grappling. And if I need to work on the striking, I'll mix it up. I'll do 2 striking and 1 grappling, whatever. But so long as I'm doing 2 or 3 times a week, obviously sometimes I'm tired, ill, or traveling, or I've traveled a lot this year, so it's been difficult to keep that consistency.
What's your favorite thing about that choice of martial art, BJJ? Because my favorite martial art personally is Muay Thai.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't say that BJJ is my favorite in that sense. I would say that I enjoy stand-up freestyle wrestling.
Yeah, that's why. Okay.
Yeah, I like that.
So
enjoy that.
jiu-jitsu more.
I started off, by the way, when I was a teenager. I was an ABA boxer.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Nice.
I was a heavyweight. The heavyweight categories were 91 kilos and over at that time. So ABA is Amateur Boxing Association. Now they've changed the rules. But obviously now, do you know why I actually stopped? Because of the hadith. There's a hadith. I started to get religious. إذا قاتل أحدكم أخاه فليتقي الوجه فإن الله خلق آدم على صورته. Bukhari and Muslim. Hadith of Abu Hurairah, where it says that if they hit in the face and so on. So I thought, and also, and this is kind of related, I don't like the fact that actually you can get really hurt, and in the way that you get hurt is that it affects your brain. I don't like that, because if I'm studying, because a lot of my objectives in life was to learn, yeah?
Yeah.
And I know it sounds a bit like whatever, but my objective in life was to learn.
No,
learn
that's a big part of what you do, yeah.
And to be honest with you, a lot of the research has shown that if you do especially heavy sparring, because we used to spar every single week, once or twice, yeah? And it used to be quite heavy. And as teenagers, it's difficult to have that maturity to go 70% or whatever. Teenagers, you just go for it. You know what I'm trying to say? And so I believe that had an impact on me, and I didn't like it. I don't like the fact that someone could, especially as a heavyweight, could just give me one punch one day. I could be caught with one smack, and that smack could actually have an impact on something I've learned.
It could damage you for life.
It can actually have an impact on learning. But for example, with wrestling, if I get what's the kind of injuries that you get with wrestling,
It's less impactful, yeah.
It's not less impactful. You get joint injuries, you get like your knee injuries, you get neck injuries,
yeah.
which are problematic. I'm not saying anything, but it's not your brain. You get it? It's not going to affect your cognitive functionality.
Yeah.
So for that reason, I kind of hovered for those 2 reasons. Islamic.
Yeah.
I swear that the main reason was Islamic, because otherwise I would have really enjoyed to do more and more of the ABA stuff.
Yeah.
So I moved on to like what do you call it?
BJJ.
No, I moved on to wrestling for some time. Some Iranians actually, and after that I done BJJ. So it was kind of like
Nice.
All 3 of the things that you need to do. And then after that I started experimenting with a bit of kickboxing and Muay Thai as well, but I'm not anything on that. So
Nice. MashaAllah. I know why you say that as well, because you've spoken about it. You've spoken to me about him.
have I? Oh yeah, okay. I'm not sure if I've told you this before.
No, yeah, I know.
But the thing is, yeah, if I had to choose, yeah, excellent question, yeah. If I had to choose a martial art for the Muslim community to learn,
Yeah.
it would be Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
But it's ground and pound.
Oh no. The reason why I would choose it over and above like striking is, number one, for the reason I just mentioned.
Yeah.
Or the 2 reasons I mentioned. Number one. Number 2.
Oh, you mean as in something to do, like to practice?
Yeah, I wouldn't want
and
my
train?
son, to, like, I would not bring him into boxing. If he said I want to box, I'd try my best to dissuade him from it. If he, like, as a professional or something. I'm not talking about sparring, light
No, but
sparring,
sometimes you can
or
do
training.
that,
I'm
yeah.
not talking about that. I'm saying that if my son said, let me go in and be, a professional, or even an amateur, because in amateur you can get hurt. It's 12-ounce gloves. Yeah, before it used to be, sorry, it's 10-ounce gloves. I think before it used to be 12. And they've taken the head covering off. Before they used to have the head. In our days, used to have head covering. Now you don't have the head
You
covering.
don't need to, yeah.
And so it's problematic, like, especially if you're studying, like I said, and stuff like that. And you break your nose quite often as well.
Have you broken your nose?
I don't know if I broke it. I don't think I broke it, but it like bled and stuff like that. You get it in sparring and whatever.
I think sparring is a very good feeling though.
And the face, like, you know, you don't want your face to look ugly as well, because you end up. I swear, it sounds a bit thing, but when you're getting cuts in the eye, you're getting it's different. Whereas wrestling and BJJ and all that stuff, your cuts are hidden, kind of thing. Your bruises are hidden.
Yeah.
So, and BJJ, there's no way in hell you can put a lightweight with a heavyweight in boxing or in Muay Thai.
No, he'll get murdered.
Yeah, unless, I mean, have you seen the fight? There's a fight basically between Shaquille O'Neal and Oscar De La Hoya. Yeah. Now, for those who don't know, Oscar De La Hoya is one of the best fighters of all time, top 50, yeah? One of the best boxers of all time. Yeah? I would say top 50, maybe top. You could even make an argument top 30. Shaquille O'Neal was a tall basketball player, 7 foot, well, I don't know what, basketball player, and they did like a charity boxing match, and it was very even. I mean, why was it so even? Because of this guy's reach advantage and his height advantage and his weight advantage. Simple as that. He did not know how to box. They put him into a rigorous training camp, and after about 3 or 4 weeks, he boxed him, or maybe 5 or 6 weeks. But how can someone who's one of the best fighters of all time even compete with someone? So the weight differential there, it destroys it. Had it been the case with BJJ like that, where you got someone like he's been doing BJJ for 20, 30 years, and you have someone who's a much
big guy,
that guy will be destroyed. He'll be lucky to survive for 2 or 3 minutes. Very lucky. 2-3 minutes, he's very lucky.
No, it is a powerful sport.
So with BJJ, that's why you have open categories. They have open. You can fight someone who's 75 kilos if you're 120. That's possible. They have those open categories. Boxing, you will never have those open categories.
You won't have that.
And wrestling, you will never have those open categories. You will never. It's too much. The size matters basically in those sports more. So I think for a woman, for example, or someone who's of average or small size, doing BJJ will will allow you to compete with bigger opponents in a much more effective way. Generally speaking, obviously, it's not one size fits all ever. I agree with you.
Bro, Jazakallah khair for coming on the podcast, man.
It's been, by the way, you didn't tell the people what I'm doing nowadays.
It's been really, really good.
What's this? Tell the people.
K by H, you're selling comms now.
Yeah, I mean, it's good that you brought it up. So, I mean, what's happening is that...
Listen, we'll tell the people to follow you on Instagram, and then you can tell them on Instagram.
It's not on Instagram, it's on my what do you call it? I've made a new website, www.muhammadhijab.co.uk.
MashaAllah. And
there's a shop section there. Basically, I'm selling these combs. It's very nice. I'm sure you need one, actually.
Yeah.
How does it feel on your body?
Feels alright, man. My body?
I mean,
I'm using it on my bed, bro. I don't know. Well, where you want me
It's got two sides. It's got, like, for the rough, if you've got... Me, I've got, like, kind of coarse beard. You take... Look, before we finish, I know, sorry. You take care of yourself, don't you? Can I ask you advice before we end? Sorry, I know. I'm sorry to say, because this is actually, I'll be honest with you.
I try to.
Yeah, because this is actually, I want advice from you, yeah?
Okay.
So, because I think that you do, you've got that metro look, you've got that, you've got that taking care of yourself, you honestly, I mean.
Yeah.
Do you have a routine, like, that you want to, seriously, do you have a routine? Me, I'm a bit like slapdash in it, like, to be honest.
Yeah.
Only recently I realized that, I'll tell you what happened, okay? For me, I went into a couple of public debates, and one of the main things that people were talking to me about and complaining about, and if you look at the comments,
is you're not wearing your suit properly.
Nah, not even that.
Okay.
That's something.
You weren't wearing your suit properly, by the way. Yeah. Next time, let me help you.
Okay, it's not even that. You can help me. There is a next time, so you can help me go to California to do a debate. So what I was gonna say was, there was a debate I did with a particular group of people, yeah?
All right.
And I came with a T-shirt.
Yeah. A pink one?
No, it was just a blue T-shirt.
Yeah, you've worn pink vests before. I don't know where.
Isn't that part of your metro thing?
Never.
I thought that I would pink.
Even if I'm in Miami, I'm not wearing a pink vest, bro.
You
were dressed like you're in Miami.
No, but if you wore pink, London, no one will say anything to you. No, that's you. Pink is you. Do you get it?
Yeah, recently it hasn't been, but really? I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, you can get away with it. If I can get away with it, you can definitely
I could get away with it, yeah.
Now, what I was going to say, was that when I went to this debate, I was wearing a T-shirt, yeah?
All right.
And the guy had, this debate, he's a particular, student of knowledge kind of individual, yeah?
All right.
So he had piles of books and whatever and that.
Okay.
And he came with his whole, garb and this and that, and his students were there. Whatever,
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
So I came in with a T-shirt, and because I was all Russian, wallahi, a lot of those debates, I did not prepare for that debate. I can tell you, I had 2 days preparation for that debate.
Yeah, yeah.
He was preparing for 4 weeks, and he told me, "Look, here's when I'm going to do it. Otherwise,
Yeah.
I said, "Look, do it. Yeah, run it out. 2 days. Give me 2 days. I'll do it. Yeah."
Yeah.
So that day, I was doing some other
Researching
things.
and-
No, I wasn't even researching. I was doing some other things in life. I was driving to the place,
Yeah.
going with the sheikh through Sheikh محمد. Yeah, he was with me, going through some arguments, going through some verses.
Yeah.
Yeah, just make sure that I got them,
Yeah.
and whatever. So I was there, and obviously, like my face, my beard, it wasn't combed or anything,
Yeah.
and I was just like roughed up. You get what I'm trying to say?
So people criticize you for
So
that.
I would look at the comments after the debate,
Yeah.
and there was like, this guy's got, he didn't even brush his beard. this is how
The guys walked out of bed.
this is how they validate their religion. This is how they validate their sect. Yeah.
No, but it's important.
Do you get
It's
what I'm
very
saying? So
important.
can you give us
Yeah,
some
yeah.
tips? Honestly,
Yeah, yeah,
wallahi, this is
definitely.
important. Can you give us tips on what you do or what you
Yeah.
should do,
Yeah.
male grooming, and where brushing your beard, fits within that context, please? Do you brush your beard?
I do. I do. Yeah, I do.
How often?
I do every day. Every day I try to brush my beard.
Can I
Every
ask,
day.
how do you brush?
Okay, so obviously it depends how your beard is. Yeah.
Right. So my beard is quite similar to yours.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. So basically, I brush my beard out.
With a comb?
Now yeah, with the comb. With the
Or
comb.
do you do it with a brush?
I do it with the comb.
Does it hurt?
I do it with the comb.
A little
No,
bit.
it's okay. It's
Yeah.
okay. I do it with the comb, with
Yeah.
the brush.
Clean up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just comb it forward and comb it down from the sides. That's
Right.
it, really. That's
Okay.
me.
And
I
what
oil
else
it. I oil it.
Yeah. What else do you do?
With what?
Like
Just
generally?
getting ready. Generally.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
do you spend time choosing your clothes?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Let me
that's
say,
important.
Wallahi al-azim.
That's
Uqsima
important.
billah. Allah's my witness.
Look, my shoes are matching with this.
Uqsima billah. Let me
Yeah.
tell you something. Yeah.
Yeah.
The maximum time I spend,
Yeah.
choosing my clothes, is 1 minute. It has not.
You just throw anything with anything.
I look and just find anything.
Yeah.
You know,
Anything is clean and you just wear it.
it's clean.
That's not good though, man.
Can you give me advice, please?
Just put a bit more effort in. Just put.
Do you
a
know,
bit more
wallahi,
effort.
one guy came to me and he was like,
Yeah.
one guy came to me. I was wearing like my jacket
Yeah.
and I was wearing white gloves. I went
Yeah.
to speak to corner, yeah. Them white gloves were
Listen to me. Do you have a budget? When are you gonna have a budget of money to spend? Like a good maybe £300 or £400.
when the comms start selling, brother.
Okay. No. Come to me when you got that. We'll go shopping together.
What would you recommend I wear? What should be my style? What should be my thing?
You said to me you like dressing smart.
I like
before.
it. I enjoy it, but I don't want to be that
No,
guy.
but you don't need to
though.
wear a suit to dress smart. You know that.
Go on, tell me what you.
So
do.
you-
like
smart-
Hamza's also style.
Yeah. Smart.
Like he's
casual.
got the
He
jeans.
dresses very nice.
Kind of
Jeans
thing.
with boots. A nice
Do you know? I
jumper,
think that
shirt.
I believe you're giving your dad fashion advice. You know why? Because I saw him speak at school the other day, and he looked like you. He looked like you, but like he was very. He was wearing he was wearing like a tracksuit, Adidas.
Yeah.
Came up this and that, and I was thinking, this is Musa Adnan. Did you tell him what to wear?
I didn't, I think it's my mum learning from me, and she just kept buying him stuff. My mum buys my dad's clothes, but it's like,
I basically, in this.
No,
this
but
field,
I
have
do
to be
tell my
honest with
dad.
you,
I do tell my
Musa.
dad.
In Islam, you have a mujtahid.
Yeah.
And you have muqallid.
Yeah.
A mujtahid is someone who has the tools to
does
be
it for
able to.
himself.
Yeah, it does the thing. A muqallid is someone who's copy. Now I have to be a muqallid in this matter. You know why?
Yeah.
Have no knowledge.
Yeah.
I have no knowledge, bro.
Yeah, you're jahil in this matter.
I'm jahil in this bad, but I have no idea what I'm doing.
Yeah.
One time, wallahi, one time I put on pajamas. Listen to me, yeah. And I took my kids out and whatever, yeah.
Yeah.
And I was walking this and that, and some guy came, white guy. He looked at me, what he said? Like, he goes, "Welcome to Britain." Welcome to England.
Because you were wearing your pajamas.
I did not care. I just felt, I'm going on the street. Welcome to England. But sometimes it pays off with dividends, Sometimes it pays off with dividends. Like one time, like I told you, yeah, I was wearing my jacket, and I was cold that day. My sister was in the house, yeah. I said to my sister, I need gloves. Yeah, obviously she had these gloves which were like feminine a little bit, white, feminine, right? And someone's out there. Look, he's trying to look.
We know what you mean. Yeah.
They had these kind of like bells on them or something, yeah?
Yeah, that's female gloves. Yeah. So you wore them.
So I said, you know what? My hands are cold. I don't give a damn. So I
Yeah.
just pulled it off. I pulled those two things off, yeah?
Okay.
And I put the white gloves on. I went to speaker school and I was talking to, I think it was James that week, yeah?
Okay.
With my white gloves, yeah?
Yeah.
And I was talking this and that. And I went back and these guys were saying, where'd you get your gloves from?
Seriously.
Wallahi, they said, where you get your gloves? I was like, they were talking to me as if I'm a fashion guru expert or something like that.
Bro,
You get what I'm saying? One time,
I
my mum had like a shawl that I threw it on me one day. I was cold.
Your
like-
mum's shawl.
Yeah, I put it on. Like I have no, you know, like this whole thing of masculine perfume versus woman's perfume. I don't. Who made that?
It doesn't matter. You know, once I walked
Who made that? I like the woman's one.
Once I walked into one shop, yeah, and I go to the and I took a jacket and I was like, this is a very nice jacket. I took it to the till. The guy goes, you know, this is a female jacket, right? I go, yeah, it's fine. I still bought it.
No, because
Yeah.
how do you even differentiate? Some of them are more sweet or whatever, yeah. But I put it on. I like
With
it.
jackets, to be honest, with female ones, then when I took it home, I started looking in the mirror and I was like, yeah, it does come in a little bit from the waist, but you know, maybe we'll get away with it.
So for
But
me,
yeah, I just think it's
yeah.
important to take care of yourself. I think it's important to take
So
care
how
of
do? Well,
yourself.
give me some usul. Give me some principles, yeah. For someone who's jahil like me and this bab and this mas'ala,
Yeah.
like someone who does not know what to wear.
The only way I
doesn't
can
know
do
how
it-
to make a decision on
The only way I can do it
Yes.
is by showing you.
And a lot of people have been telling me to, you know,
Look,
consult the sheikh and this mas'ala.
There's different qawaid in this. Right?
Okay,
There's
please.
different principles.
Can you please?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for example,
Yeah.
one principle is black goes with anything.
Okay.
So black goes with anything.
Something
So if you wore a black jumper,
Is that
right
a racial?
now,
Is that a racial slur? Is that a racial
no,
thing?
No. Black goes with anything. Yeah? White goes with everything as well. So when
But
you're wearing clothes, and
White
you wanna
goes with everything.
yeah,
Really?
yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, so if you wore a white jumper right now, it would go with what you're wearing.
Wallahi.
Yeah, it would go with what you're
Okay,
your
so white
joggers.
and black
What?
go with everything.
White and black, but doesn't mean you just wear white and black.
So what
But,
colors would look good on me?
I think brown would look good on you.
Burgundy.
Black would look good on you.
Yeah.
Burgundy would look good on you.
Yeah.
Bottle green.
Is it to do with the skin complexion?
Yeah,
Is
it's
that
to
you
do
hate-
with your skin complexion. Yeah,
Is it?
yeah.
So what do you do? How do you find out your skin color?
I'm a similar skin color to you, so that's
No, but
what-
I've got that nice gold look. You got that, you know, that.
Listen, bro. Listen. On that note, we can do this though. We need to definitely go shopping. I'm gonna
I
take
think
you
that,
shopping.
shopping. But the
I'm gonna
thing
take
is,
you shopping.
I can't buy shoes.
Because you
anywhere.
definitely buy clothes. I know you.
I can go to. I can get jackets.
Like you yeah.
But trousers and shoes, I have to special order, you know, or I have to go to
Yeah,
them
I know.
shops,
Yeah,
big
yeah.
and tall and for high and mighty and all them things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What size are you in shoes?
13 now.
That's crazy, man.
It's not crazy. But it stops at 12. Do you get it?
So you need to get them.
Do you know what I
special
say
shoes.
to them
What?
when I'm walking down? I go and I say, "Have you got any size 13 shoes?"
Yeah.
I don't care what it is. Just give
You
me.
don't care
Let me
what
see.
it is, yeah.
I'm not even gonna look. Just give me the.
Yeah.
Let me see what you
Because
got.
it's so hard for you. Subhanallah.
And the trousers are even worse. You know.
Mm,
So I mean,
crazy.
I need to know.
Well, you
more
Oh,
are
about-
6 foot what? 5? 6 foot 6?
6'6.5".
6'6". Boy.
Oh, 6'6".
You could face Anthony Joshua with that height.
I could, but I don't think I'd get anywhere.
I think he'd knock you out.
Yeah. If it would not be about being, it would just be about surviving one round. If I survive one round, forget about 2 or 3, then that's it. I've earned my stripes.
Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar.
But if I come in if I take him down, he's in big trouble.
Brazilian. On that note, bro, Jazakallahu khairan for coming on the show. It's been a pleasure having you. I'm sure every single person, has enjoyed this, It's been lovely having you. And I'm sure we're going to have you on again and again and again.
And you're going to
inshallah,
make
in
a
the future.
video for like Muslim men, how to dress good
Yeah, we will.
on your
do.
channel. 'Cause
Yeah.
your channel's been dormant. What's wrong with you?
I'm coming back.
Is that you want to try and
Coming
what?
back.
What's the
I've
reason?
been just working on myself a little bit,
Yeah? Yeah.
Doing that.
Okay,
It's
so you're going to come back?
You should try it sometimes. You're very active.
Yeah, no, I've had enough.
No, but yeah, man. Jazakallah khairan for coming on the show.
Jazakallah.
Brothers and sisters, this has been Rerouted with your host, Musa Adnan. If you have not subscribed to us or if you do not follow us on iTunes, we are on iTunes, we are on Android, Google Play, I think it's called. Google Play? It's called... It's
SoundCloud?
I don't think we're on SoundCloud. We're on all of the major platforms. Spotify, Apple Music, the iTunes app, and we are also on Google Podcasts. I think that's what it's called. So you can watch us on there as well. You can listen to us on there and you can subscribe to us. Until the next episode, from myself and Muhammad Hijab, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Peace.
Dum, 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 dum.